Scan here. Alright, you ready, man?
Yeah.
So, Rico, how did you get started in the low-budget film industry?
Well, in the summer I graduated from high school in 1990, I started working in a movie theater. And a couple guys brought a couple promo posters, and I asked Mark Brown, Lester Daniels, Todd Moore, Patrick Conley, a couple guys I was working in the theater. And Mark Brown brought in a poster for Cenobiome, one of the first films I got involved in. And I asked Mark, what is this? And he's like, well, we're local filmmakers. You know, the movie's called Cenobiome. It's our version of Hellraiser. And it's like, hey, I tell you what, if you ever need an extra, let me know. So a couple weeks later, they called me, says, Rico, you want to be in this movie? Like, at first I kind of hesitated, but then said, what the hell? I did it. And when I got to the shoot, it was a lot more, it was kind of pretty cool actually. So.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let me shut my phone off too.
Take 2. Oh, wait a minute. So, Rico, how did you get started in the low-budget film industry?
Well, it started back in 1990, the summer I graduated from high school. And I was working at the movie theater behind Hills at the time, on Perkins Plaza. And it was a fourplex. And a couple guys I was working with were involved in, making films. Well, one of the guys that were the director, Mark Allen Brown, he brought in a poster called Cenobiome. It's another version of Hellraiser, low-budget version. And I asked Mark, what is this? And he's like, well, it's our latest film that we're going to make. We're working on right now, called Cenobiome. And it's like, well, if you ever need a victim, let me know. I'm always interested, It's like, all right. So a couple weeks later, Mark gave me a call and says, Rich, you still want to be in that movie? I was like, yeah, we need a corpse. He's like, hey, I'll do it. So, we were there for the shoot. I had fun with it. And then a month or two later, we had the premiere at Harlequin's Theater downtown. And I started watching it. I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. They had for the premiere for Cenobiome, there's quite a few people that showed up. And then when I finally saw myself on TV, I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. So from there on in, I pretty much got hooked, And then I told Mark and Lester, Lester Daniels was the other guy, and Pat Conley. And I was like, you know what, guys? If you guys are gonna do more stuff like this, I would love to be involved with some more of this, filmmaking. So from there on in, it's history, So I pretty much got hooked, and I've been doing it ever since.
Awesome.
Is that okay?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, talk briefly about your history, acting-wise.
Well, like I said, back in 1990 was my very first film. Film that I got started in. I had a lot of fun with it, and ever since the premiere, I got had a blast with it. I was like, man, this is great. I love to do more. Well, like I said before, I talked to Mark Brown and going, hey, Mark, I'd like to be involved in some more projects, for the future. It's like, all right. So the thing is that Mark started putting me in smaller roles, start building up my roles. And the key is that the more you show up for the shoots, the more you participate, the bigger your parts are going to be. And Mark and Lester and Pat, they all realized, like, Rich just keeps showing up for the shoots. So in 1994, Lester wrote a script called The Wimp. And Mark and Lester were talking about, like, who can we play, who can have the main character as the Wimp? Arnold Crosby. Well, Lester said this, goes, you know what? Let's give the part to Richard. Because the thing is that he's always there. He shows up for the shoots. He's very enthusiastic. You know what? Let's give him a shot at, the main character. So the next thing you know it, Mark and Lester asked him, goes, Rich, how would you like the main part of our next movie? The main character is like, you know what? I love it. So it was called Wimp. It did really well. And then we had a premiere for it. It did really well, good response from it. And then Mark asked me, going, how would you like a sequel? So there were 2 sequels spawned from the original film, Wimp 2 and Wimp Unleashed. And there were a couple other films that I starred in, Darker Light, and from there on in. But the thing was that Blade Independent Studio only lasts from 1990 to 1997 with me, But the group, started before that, back in 1985. So, But from there on in, I did some smaller projects here and there, some independent stuff, like The Haunt. And then I was involved with working at the Ghostly Manor, for a little. It was fun, got paid for it, but we had a lot of fun with it. But then on in, I got involved with Keith Munden's production, Legacyverse Productions. Keith came to me one day when I was working at Lowe's and was like, "Hey Rico, you still want to do some movies?" Like, "Yeah, absolutely." So next thing I was like, "Keith, I kind of want to see what you guys been doing." So Keith came along with Rick Davis, came to at Lowe's, brought me some movies. I watched them and was like, "You know what? All right, I'm in." So that's pretty much how I got involved with Keith. And ever since I've been having a blast, having a good time. Worked with a lot of good people, and the group that we're working with right now all have some kind of their own talent in their own right. Everybody puts something on the table. Like Wendy Davis, she does like the artwork. Rick brings in the music as well as being the actor. I mean, Keith, he's the one that does the editing and writes the scripts. And like I said, and then we got other people that's involved too. Well, I'm not going to mention names, but anyway. But like I said, the group that we're working with right now with Legacyverse Productions is a great group. I'm having a good time. And the thing is, with Keith, he gives me a lot of creative freedom, a lot of creative control, which I'm gotta say that I've never had that in the past. So I'm really grateful for working with these guys. They're great people, and so, But from here on in, and like I said, I plan on doing more stuff.
Okay.
How's that?
So, what is your long-term goal, acting-wise?
Long-term goal, acting-wise? It would be, I know, like I said, it's like every other actor wants to go to Hollywood, and I'm pretty much not that different. I'd love to get to the next level, but what we got right now is great. We're doing films, low-budget films, but honestly, I'd like to get to that next level where we can get to the point where we're getting paid to make movies, and get paid to make movies and be in the next level, where we can do a lot more networking and to be able to meet celebrities in that certain level, and maybe you never know, meet that hot chick that does those AT&T commercials. That one I'm talking about. Well, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and some other hot celebrity chicks, and maybe get the key to the Playboy Mansion. But I know that's no longer there, but it's okay though, and maybe some swimsuit models, what I'm talking about. But yeah, but besides that, long-term goals, yeah, just to be able to get paid to make movies, which I'm enjoying right now. I'm having a blast. But yeah, that's pretty much it, not just for myself, but the whole group to go to the next level,
Awesome.
I would go to those conventions, film festivals, talk to a lot of people, do some networking, have some business cards and pass them out, and then just be involved.
Okay, that's
There you
a
go.
perfect answer. So Rico, what advice would you give somebody wanting to get into film acting?
Best advice I can tell them is that go to those independent film festivals and put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Have your business card. Tell them that you're interested in doing some films. Be involved. Don't be afraid to be rejected, because a lot of film groups are always wanting the people, always looking for extras. So just go out there.
Okay. There's still, So the first of which is going to be what has been the best movie that you've been in, and then the worst.
Okay, I know the worst.
Okay.
Chances are.
Really?
I didn't enjoy it.
You went over it. All right. So, what's, in your opinion, been the best movie you've been in?
I gotta say the best movie I've been involved with was Infected. Because the reason that is that I got really emotionally connected to the character I played, and it took me a couple months to learn the dialogue. Actually a month to learn the dialogue, but for me to actually get connected with the character, I practiced a lot. I memorized the dialogue, and then I figured, how am I going to say this? So I really liked the movie overall. Was a great movie. I enjoyed the movie, and to me, in my opinion, Infected is probably the best movie to date.
Damn. Okay. So what's the worst movie you've been in?
There's two. Tickle Wolf, absolutely horrible. What a mess. I was there for the reading of the script. Like, what a piece of crap this is, And And then there was Chances Are. I mean, I didn't like it. You know what? Here's the thing. I watched it. I couldn't watch it. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not being egotistical or anything, you know. But I mean, I like watching myself on TV, you know. But this one, I couldn't. I had to fast forward through it. I can't watch it. It's so bad. I mean, my acting was okay, but just the storyline was like, it was just horrible.
Okay. So, what has been your personal favorite role that you've played?
Actually, I have two. Two roles I played that I really enjoyed. One was back in 1994, the Wimp character I played, because he was kind of a goofy slapstick, try to do right, but always screws up in one way, shape, or form. He just screwed up. You know, Arnold Crosby, the Wimp. I really liked playing that character. And the other character I liked playing was the Reaper, you know, from Legacyverse Productions. You know what the thing is? Playing the main antagonist in a film like this is great. You know, there's rules when you're playing a bad guy. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. You know, you can be the biggest jerk. They can be, you know, the biggest asshole. I mean, it's great. I love being the main antagonist in the film. So I'm one of those guys that always root for the bad guy in films. So now the worst character I ever played in a movie was the character I played in Chances Are. He was really dry. I mean, yeah, good dialogue, but just the part should have been played by someone else, not myself. So I know that you're supposed to have some, you know, try different things, but you know, Chances Are the character I played, boy, that's just horrible. Jeez. All right, you know, before I puke, let's just shut that one off. All right.
Heroes or villains? Which one do you prefer playing?
Oh, villains, no doubt about it. I love playing the bad guy. It's just a blast. You know, you can treat people like crap, and you're allowed to. Now, playing a hero is another thing. You got to play by certain rules, but playing a villain, you don't have to. You can be mean and yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, what is the craziest thing you've done while filming a movie?
The craziest thing I've ever done in a movie was in The Evil Eye, when I was with Blade Independent Studio. There was a scene where I was driving a car on the old railroad, old railroad street. Okay, just to let you know, this is totally illegal, all right? But we pulled it off, and yeah. But here it is. I was driving the car on the old railroad. My buddy was in the back seat. You know, he popped up, and at the same time, the car was swerving, you know, on the road. And I was like, you know, turn the steering wheel. You know, the car was swerving around, and I was like trying to punch the guy that was he was trying to choke me and trying to beat the hell out of me while I'm driving. Well, next thing you know, I finally got out of his claw. You know, he's trying to grab me, and I finally got out. This is while the car is moving. I got out of the car while the car was moving on top of the roof of the car, and I started punching Lester because Lester's the one who's wearing the mask, you know. And next thing you know it, you know, that's the first shot right there, you know. And next thing you know it, Lester asked me, he goes, okay. Lester kind of had to sit in front seat because we took these at two different shots. And while I'm on top of the roof of the car while I was moving, Lester asked me, okay, where do you want me to park? Where do you want me to slam the... Tell you what, see those weeds over there on the side of the road? Slam your brakes in the weeds and I'm going to fly off the car into the weeds. He's like, all right. Next thing you know, the car is moving. He slams on the brakes. I fly off the car into the weeds. And a couple days, well, actually after that, we did the whole stunt. Here comes the sheriff. Got calls saying that there was some kid riding on top of a car. Well, the sheriff comes saying, what's going on here, boys? We're making a movie. Like, for what? School. Note that none of us were in school. And my buddy that's in the back seat, Lester, he was a reserve cop for Perkins. So, yeah, we could have gotten in trouble, but we kind of had to deny everything that happened. He's like, well, we're not riding on top of a car. So, that's probably one of the craziest things. But, you know, there's a lot more, but on top of my head, that's the craziest thing we've ever done.
Okay.